by our guest of the week, none other than Trisha Ford, Texas A&M head coach. Trisha Ford, thanks for joining me today on the Softball America podcast.
So excited. I always enjoy talking to you and to the softball world. So excited to spend some time with y'all.
All right, well, let's get into it. Texas A&M, the Aggies, 35-21 a season ago, 12-12 in the SEC. Advanced to the NCAA tournament, playing in the Austin Regional, falling to Texas. Good year, first year for you, Coach Ford. First time in the SEC. Let's start there. What was that like for you? Well, let's give everybody some background before we get to there. Coached at St. Mary's, Stanford, Fresno State, ASU, and Texas A&M. But first time in the SEC. What was that like?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I love competition, to be honest with you. And the pack really prepared me for that. And we had a great year coming, before I came to the SEC. So, I have a lot of friends in the SEC, a lot of, head coaches that I know. And the transition was great. I enjoy the facilities, top to bottom. I enjoy the support that the SEC brings to softball, and really the accessibility to be able to watch softball at a high level. Every one of our games is on TV, and you can access it. So I think that piece of it I really, really enjoyed, and I love to compete. And so you want to go against the big dogs, and I thought we did a pretty good job next year. Lots of room for improvement, though.
And what is happening right now in College Station? I know we're getting ready for season. Just finished the War Games.
Yes.
Can you explain that to our followers, viewers, and subscribers? What is the War Games?
Yeah, so we actually got it from Cindy Ball, Coach Ball over at UCF. I have a couple kids on staff that played with her or for her at Boise and UCF. And so we put our little twist on it. But basically, you set up different activities, whether it be on the field, off the field, in the weight room. We did like an amazing race type of day. We had a triathlon. We did some minute to win it games, just a variety of activities. We also finished it off with a, what's it called? A bake-off and a talent show. That we should probably record, because I'm like, this is why you play softball. Yes, it was.
What was your favorite moment from the talent show?
Oh, good Lord. Okay, so we had one that they had props, and they were synchronized swimmers. And so they had this blue tarp to like simulate that it was water, and we were dying. And then we had the team that actually won they were a purple team. I can't remember, but Brooke Vestal was the reason why they won it, because she is so dry, and her humor is just hilarious. And so they're doing the dance, and then there's Brooke over there, like very serious, and so it was just a great opportunity for them to be silly, also connect with different teammates, right? So every night your team had to go and meet with the 5 other members of your team and plan out your outfit for the next day. And those were interesting. They were all on our Instagram and social media. How we're going to strategize against the next activity we're going to do, who's going to be the power person, the fast. And so it just, when you think about creating a team and a team culture, getting to understand and spending time with your teammates outside of softball, I think that's the secret sauce of being able to understand, like, what makes me tick, what makes you tick, and what makes this person tick, and being vulnerable to your teammates, and sharing with them like some experiences. So when they're, I'm sure, baking, and we had an epic failure because one like presented their stuff, and it was like a really cute, I was like, your presentation was great, and then you look at the cupcake, and I was like, what happened? And they're like, the tube of frosting exploded 30 minutes prior. So it was a little interesting, but it was just fun, and for us to enjoy and compete, but in a different, avenue, was, I don't know, we had a really good time. So we have a lot more ideas for next year, and it'll get better and better. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully maybe you could tape some of the talent show. We
Oh
could
my
use
God.
that for
We
content.
could, yeah, that could. Oh.
Speaking of culture, I think that's really important because there's a lot of newcomers on the squad heading into 2024, including being reunited with Jasmine Hill from ASU, Price, Powell, Griffin, Vestal, to name a few. What do you think and obviously you've seen them through the fall and now heading into season, what do you think the impact is going to be for those newcomers for you?
Well, I think Sav and Jazz just know us, right? They came and they were with us at ASU for their whole career. Obviously, last year they, finished up there, and I think for me, they just bring back some of that. I don't know what you want to call it, but just the gel. Like, they understand what it looks like and it feels like. They understand how to compete every day and everything we do. They understand our standard excellence, talking a little smack to each other, and just that environment that really my programs have always had. And so that's been great. Jazz being able to get back with Coach Harger and kind of get her swing back. She's had a really good fall, and they're both comfortable, and really, you can say a lot about the transfer portal. It works both ways. It's worked both ways for me. But I really think that when you connect with players or you connect with a coach, I get it. And, at the end of the day, I want them both to finish their careers in the space that they want to be in, and be able to excel at the level that I know they can excel at. And so it's been good. And, Hef and Jazz are out in the outfield together, Coach Hef, and, oh man, really, we should be miking the two of them up. Yes, but some of it might not be appropriate for, yeah, maybe for you, Tara. Yeah. But that's it. Yeah. And then the other two that you kind of mentioned, KP, she played for Nathan Nelson, and Nathan, I feel like, really aligns with us and kind of how he pushes his players. And she's played for Nathan. She played for Nathan her whole life. And Jeff and Nathan are pretty similar, as they're going to push you hard and demand, and just a high level every single day. And I think KP really thrives in that, and that's been good. And she's played with over half of our team at some point in time, and so that transition piece has been very easy and smooth for her. And she had obviously a great experience last year. She's fun to get closer to home, and now she's able to be closer to home and be around people that she's played her whole life with. So she's another one. That girl hates to lose. Oh my gosh, yes. And so I can't even remember what we were doing. We had a team retreat this past weekend, and we were doing charades, I think, and she lost in charades, or her team, and I hate losing. And I'm like, KP, like, you're gonna be okay, girl. Like, you're gonna be okay. And she's like, Coach Ford, you don't understand. Like, I hate to lose. And I'm like, I love that about you, but it was charades. Like, we're gonna be okay, So she's fit in really well. And I think I have a type of kid. I have a type of kid that loves the grind, loves to compete. One of my things I say is winning is fun. Nowadays we hear a lot of times, like, I just want to have fun. Well, winning is fun. And so that's who I want. I want those kind of kids. I want those kind of parents, and KP fits in nicely. Brooke and I, we meshed as soon as she came. And obviously I've spent some time with her family because of her sister, and she'll be an Aggie here next year. But Brooke has she is so mature, and she's a 6th year. So there's a lot of reasons why, but we also talk about this in the Olympics, and you've been involved with international ball. They peak at 27-ish age, and like, I can see it, like, I'm living it. And with her pitching, she's picked up, just huge miles per hour at her age. That's crazy. Kept her spin profile, her break profile. That's wild to me. And there's a couple of things that we wanted to fix with her grip, and she's like, okay, I'll do it. Boom, do it. And you just don't get that. It's harder when you're 18, 19, 20. You're just not as confident in yourself. And Brooke has gone through so much that she's like, this isn't really that hard. Like, this isn't a big thing. And I do a heart rate monitor. I'm always trying to do weird things like, ooh, what can we, find out from this? Sometimes they're really good. And sometimes I'm like, well, we'll try something else. And so I put heart rate monitors on all of our pitchers for their bullpens, for live, like seeing how it is. And Brooks is like, is she alive? Like, there's nothing that makes her like go really high. We're like laughing in the dugout because we can't do it during season because you can't have anything electronic. But like, we're literally in the dugout. I'm calling pitches, I'm hitting buttons now, the pitch comm. And
Ooh, are you using the pitch comm?
Yes.
How is that?
Oh, it's good.
Okay,
I love it.
Yes. We'll get into that.
Yeah, I was like, well, coming from the days where I was, a face girl. So, but yes, so we're laughing at the iPad because it's like 75, 78. And it's like full count. Like I put her in some, I'm like, okay, it's 3-0 count, runners at first and second, no outs. And it's 78. Like just, and then we have some others that it's,
Yeah.
normal, I would say. And
Yeah.
so we just laugh as a staff. We're like, nothing gets to Brooke. Like Brooke's just like, bring it. Yeah. So
That's incredible to see. Is those I saw you all were wearing those vests. Is that what those heart rate monitors are?
So that's Catapult. That kind of measures our infield. We have them on about 10 players. So we have it on a catcher, some infielders and some outfielders, and we're just measuring how much load they're getting at each practice. So then we know from a training standpoint, we're big in player development and kind of making sure this is it for them. Like this is, and so making sure that like, okay, player X, when we have this type of practice, this is what her load is. So then we know how to design her weight room stuff and then practices moving forward, her recovery. All of our players have the Aura ring. So that's another way that we're able to kind of track how they're sleeping. We're obviously not allowed to see everything. Our nutritionist and dietitian and our sports science people are, but we're able to get some ranges of how they're doing. So all of that stuff we meet bi-weekly and kind of game plan how they're doing.
That's really cool to have all that information and be able to digest it and then use it going forward. But when you talk about your pitching staff, what are you most excited about with your staff? We just talked about Brooke Vestal, who transferred over from Ole Miss. What are you most excited about? You've got 3 returners as well of your pitching staff.
Yeah, they've all kept evolving, which that I love. And so I think we have a good mixture of, velo up, down, lefty, righty. And so I think they complement each other well. What I really have enjoyed is their meshing. They go out and they go bowling together. We're going to do something, I think, next week with the catchers. They want to go bowling again. Apparently bowling is the thing that, I was like, okay. So, they just genuinely like to be around each other. And we're doing our bullpens where if you and I are in a bullpen together, okay, what is my strength? Okay, so I throw a pitch. Okay, you inherit my count. Like you have to take into consideration what I threw to that batter, what of my strengths is going to complement that next pitch, but also either keep us ahead of the count, keep that be on offense. And so that's been really fun to kind of get their heads moving and
cool.
Like how can if I come in after, this person, if I come in after, we call her lefty, Emily Kennedy, like this is what my profile is going to look like. If I come in after Brooke, that's going to look very different. And so when they start to get that and understand who they are and kind of own their stuff, I feel like that's the good stuff. They get it. They're comfortable in their skin.
So they're throwing dual bullpens almost.
Yes. We do knockout. We do a bunch of things. Yes. We do a gauntlet. Yes. So they're kind of in the fall. We spend most of our time mechanics, kind of understanding things. Who I am, like what does my rise ball do when it's good? What does it do when it doesn't do good? And then now when we get into season, it is all about command, location, changing speeds, and compete. So We're in
That
that
sounds like
stage.
it's gonna be a pretty fun bullpen, pitching stuff there. If I was a pitcher, I would be jumping it. I would just flying over to College Station to just go hang out in the bullpen.
You can, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I might have an extra bedroom or something you can stay in.
So, building upon that, obviously we are getting into season, but you and I spoke, I believe a couple months ago when we are in Clearwater, out recruiting, and Softball America is focusing on a more holistic approach and really taking players through the career recruiting process, and then to their collegiate careers. When you're sitting there evaluating talent, recruiting, what do you look for in an athlete? Because I think that's the biggest question and I don't know that there's one right answer, but when you're sitting there evaluating talent, what are some of the key factors that you're looking at when you're out recruiting?
Yeah, I think the first thing is for parents and players to understand that in a given year, not everybody is who we like, those holes are very specific. And so I think you have to have a base layer of talent, you have to have a base layer of kind of what we need. But for me, I'm looking for leaders on the field. And I'm not talking about like super loud and crazy, but who's taking charge when things aren't going well? I really enjoy watching games when things are like, it's hit the fan. I was good right there. Do you see
Yes,
that?
you
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. When things go sideways, who takes charge? Who is the calming voice? Who wants the ball? Right, all of those things. And then I also am very particular as to what is going on in the stands. And what I mean by that is when kids fail, are you the parent that is, oh my God, I can't believe it, or can I not tell,
Yeah.
whose daughter it is? And I know it's hard because I have one that's a sophomore in high school, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, but you have to let them fail and suck and like feel it, because that's what drives them to be great. And so, are you the parent that also like sneaks your way over to the dugout? Like, no, let them marinate in it. Like, let's see how they're going to respond. And after a pitcher gives up a big hit or a big inning, are they looking in the dugout? Are they wanting the ball the next inning? Are they going to the coach and saying, or to her team and saying, hey, I got you guys, like, stay with me, I'm going to be better this inning? And so those are the things that I really look at, because I'm such a competitor. And so in our program, if you don't love that, we're not a good fit. And that's the other piece, is like understanding what each program's DNA is and whether or not you fit in that. There's that academic piece and all of those other pieces. But, for me, I would say I'm a player's coach, but I am going to push you. Like, I love my kids like they're my own, but I'm also going to hold them at a standard that they don't even understand, because that's where greatness happens. It doesn't happen here in this comfort level. It happens when we have very honest conversations about who I think they are and who they can be. And then what do those steps look like for them to get there? So I love to compete. We compete every day, every day.
So many good nuggets in that. Competing, how you manage failure, how parents manage failure. I see a lot of helicopter parents around the dugout, and I don't think people realize that that's something that coaches look for. And I think
Yeah.
this out of anybody, and this is my next question. You mentioned Emma, your daughter, is in the recruiting process. I want to talk a little bit about that. What is it like to be on the other side as a parent, and how has that been for you to kind of go through the process with her?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think it'll make me a better coach, like, as I kind of go through it. Um, I think she's a high academic kid, so that's one piece that we're looking at. But we haven't. I have been running away from the conversation because I'm not the lovey-dovey parent. I'm the very honest, I love you, but and so I've had the conversation with her of like, you're an outfielder, you have to hit. Like, if you're an outfielder, if you don't hit, you're on the bench. And so, some people are like, oh my gosh, Trisha, that is so mean. I'm like, it's not mean. It's the truth. And she gets to hear it from me. Like, Emma, when you have a bad at bat and you're an outfielder, like, it's a little bit worse than if you're a shortstop, a catcher, or a pitcher. Like, it's just, that's the reality of things. And so her and I have a very good relationship. I think it's healthy. So, but I'm just not one to sugarcoat things with her. But I also, she loves pressure situations. She loves a lot of things that I think we have created. As my husband played Division I, football. He coached Division I football. So she doesn't get a break, and so I will let her know when she is not performing at the standard she should be performing. And it's not about outs or hits, or it's about your approach, your focus, your connectivity to your team. That's when I go 0 to 60. So we'll see. Everybody keeps asking if she's going to play for me. I don't think that's a great idea. I don't know. Yeah. But I know, I'm like, but I want her to be developed. So that's the other piece, is that she is a bubble kid, and she needs to be somewhere where they don't just roll out a ball. Like, she's been taught, Coach Harger has been working with her since she was 12. So she almost understands too much, because she's like, oh, I was a little early on that, so I hit the bottom half of the ball because it was an outside pitch. I got to aim for the top half and be on time. Like, 14 and 15-year-old kids, for the most part, are not, I know there's a couple programs, but not very many of them are having that conversation. And sometimes I'm like, just get in there and hit the damn ball. Like, hurt it. So, yes. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, September 1st will be very interesting in our house. I'll be on the phone. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That in itself, it's going to be like almost like a war room there. But
yeah,
when you speak about family, I was able to visit you at Davis Diamond last year with Amanda Scarborough, got a tour of beautiful stadium. I want to kind of go into that. What's it been like to step into a program with such history and an incredible alumni as well? What has that been like to have? I've seen a few photos of those players coming back to the program, and what is that aspect of building that back up been like for you?
Yeah, well, I think the first and foremost is, I think Joe just did a great job. I mean, over 25 years, 26 years at A&M. And she, like, when you think of Jo Evans, like, she is the epitome of the standard, right? Like, she just does things the right way. And she always recruited players like that. And I think that's why you have such high character alumni that are connected back. When I took the job, Amanda, Tori, I mean, just a bunch of them are realtors and an alum. Like, everybody was like, how can we help, And so that's really cool. But I think it has to do with the character that Joe obviously recruited to A&M, and Coach Brock was before Coach Evans, and his athletes have been wonderful. They've connecting. They're spicy. They are like, you would love them. Yes, we'll have to bring you out and Coach Brock's kids, because they, Gay McNutt, who is the head coach at Texas Women's University, oh my gosh, she had us in stitches. And so she came to our alumni event and she was talking to the team. I swear, I don't know that I think I almost peed my pants. Like, it was, yeah, but they love Texas A&M, and they talk about everything that we know that we're done playing. It's, yes, you remember some of the big wins and those experiences, but you really remember your teammates and that camaraderie and being able to go out and compete at a high level with that group, only with that group, against the arch enemy. And that's the stuff that you remember. So, but Gay McNutt, oh my gosh.
Maybe we can get her on the podcast.
Yes, you do. She is one of the funniest humans, and witty, and just a smart, oh man. So it's been fun. Yeah.
Well, I think when just from walking around, seeing the stadium, seeing the history of Texas A&M, and for those that don't know, incredible history and always competing at the highest level. I think that his history, like you said, Jo Evans and what she was able to build there has been really special. But the facility is like top notch. What is, like, you walk around, And what is your favorite thing about just being in that facility in Davis Diamond?
Yeah, it's hard to go to work every day. Yes, yeah. The view is terrible. Yeah. It's I am a grass person and our girls will tell you that. So when our grass is perfectly green and fresh cut, yes. This is a coach right here, right?
Yes.
And the dirt of the infield has just been watered. Oh, that's like my favorite time, whether it be in the morning or the sun setting. That is my favorite. Yeah, my favorite view. Yes, I have issues. Yes, but they'll also tell you that I'm crazy about our grass. Like, stay off the grass. We have to rotate every day. Like, we don't warm up in the same place. Yes. So
That makes me so happy. I love that when the grass is nice. I was laughing. I was like, "Really? A pitcher loves when the grass is nice? This is amazing."
it is. Like, yes. Oh, it is. We
So
overseeded.
you've now been in College Station on your second season. What's your favorite restaurant
Ooh,
in
okay.
College
Yeah,
Station?
it's gonna probably the Republic. It's a steakhouse. I'm a steak kind of girl, so it's really good. The Brussels sprouts are good. So I'm a Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. So steak,
Roasted?
Brussels. Yes, I'll take them anyway. As long as they have a little bit of vinegar in them, I'll eat them anyway. So that's my favorite.
Okay, Republic, gotta check it out. I'm gonna put it on the food list.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna forget this, Paige Lot. I wanna talk about Paige Lot and the 12th man. Can you can you give us a little background on Paige Lot?
Yeah, so obviously number 12 is huge at Texas A&M, and we haven't had a number 12 in a couple of years in the softball program. And what I had learned, because I asked the players last year, okay, how's this 12 thing work in softball? You know, how are we figuring this out? And so basically they told me last year that the team would come to the head coach and say, we would like to nominate somebody and these are the reasons why, which I love. I love the fact that it's player driven and not anything from our end. And it's funny because Jeff and I this summer talked, and Paige came to us last January. So she had only been with our program for half of a year. And this summer, Jeff and I were talking, and we're like, Paige Lott really should be our 12th man. But that's not for us to, to decide on. And about mid-July, Emily Kennedy called me and she's like, Coach Ford, I want to talk to you about something. I'm like, okay, like, what do you want to talk about? And so her and Shaylee, another pitcher, had been talking and talked to the team. And she's like, we want to nominate Paige Lott as our 12th man. And I was just like goosebumps got, all over my body. And I said, okay, well, why? Give me the reasons. And so she came, and she got with the whole team, and we were able to present it to her in December at a team dinner. It might have been November, I could be off, but basically, we were kind of going through our dinner kind of itinerary, and at the very end, Emily goes, okay, I have something we want to say. And Lefty doesn't say very much. Like, she's not somebody that talks in front of the team. And which was even more impressive to me that she came to me because she knew that I was going to be like, okay, well, if you're nominating her, then you get to talk about her. And so she was able to, her and Shaylee stood up, and the team obviously knew what was going on. And, there was tears. And so, Paige was just in shock and got to present to her. We gave her a jersey with the number 12 on the back of it. And it was just, she deserved it. She earned it. And it's crazy that she earned it in half of a year.
Yeah.
And then this past weekend, I was telling you earlier, we were at our team retreat, and we were going over Texas A&M has their the core values. It's the RELIS, and one of them is selfless service. And to hear some of our younger players say that they want to embody selfless service because Paige Lott has shown them what that looks like us coaches were just sitting there going like, oh, they're getting it, like, and how cool. And I looked at Paige, and because she was kind of sitting up where I was standing, and I said, Paige, she goes, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, nobody can take that from you. Like, that, you guys are starting to understand that you your impression that you leave on people is forever. And so value that, don't take that for granted. And so it was just a really neat moment as a team for them to sit there in front of her and talk about what she has done and the impact. And I don't know, it was a good moment.
That's incredible. And so Paige will be wearing number 12 this season.
Yes, she'll be wearing number 12. Yeah.
Make sure everybody you make sure you pay attention, because Paige Lott's going to be wearing number 12 this season, and now you all know why. Trisha, I could talk to you for hours, what we do anyways, but before you leave, when you look at this 2024 team, how would you describe it, and what can the fans be ready to see when the season starts? And not very long. Oh my goodness.
Know. Yeah. I've been very honest with them. I've said we have the ability to really surprise some people, but it's going to be up to us. And it's going to be our ability to consistently execute the small things day in and day out. I think if you look at last year, we surprised quite a few people. I don't know that we'll surprise them as much, but I feel like we have raised our level of game to a much higher level. And so I think, from a pitching standpoint, there's some things that we're tidying up. I think offensively, we've added a lot more juice and a little bit more speed. And so I think we're just consistently putting together a little bit better package. So for me, it's going to be whether or not we mesh, honestly. And I think we could go really far if we can figure out that piece.
Well, and you got a pretty good middle of the lineup if you take a look at it. Julia Cottrell, Trinity Cannon, and then add Jazz Hill. So that's going to be exciting to watch. Incredible. Just, I don't know. We haven't been on here very long, but
that's a first for you and I. Yeah,
I know, but I know you got to get to practice, and just appreciate you so much. Can't wait to see the Aggies and
thank you. Seriously, we're so lucky to have you in our game. So I think the blessing is you. So thank you. You're my person. I love you. So.
No, we're not biased at all here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for the Softball America podcast. Sarah Henry for head coach of Texas A&M, Trisha Ford. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining us.